Okay, this is my 68 Chevrolet pickup, old green as I call her. Been in my family for longer than I have actually. Passed down through generations. The thing is, I started getting to the point where the taillights would flash on and off. Windshield wipers would come on and off when they wanted to. The gauges were erratic on it. All the lights. I mean, I'm talking the dome light, dash lights, everything was flickering. And I figured out the problem was the old fuse box. As you can see down here, it's got a modern fuse box. I'm going to show you how to put a modern fuse box in this. I'm not going to do it under the hood though, or under the dash, because there's not enough room. We're going to go from this, which is the old fuse box. Actually, this fuse right here, which was the windshield wiper fuse, actually kind of fell apart when I took the thing out. It was just held in by two screws. There's one here and one here. Those two screws all that held it in. And we're going to take this out, which I already did, and I'm going to show you how to put one like this in. This is a more modern, easier to find fuses. I like them better actually, because every time I try to remove one of these, I almost poke myself in the eye with a piece of glass, because they are not exactly easy to get out. Especially, as you can see, the poor little thing is rusted bad. I mean, the fuse box had it, and the connections on the back, as you can see, were corroded really badly. One thing that you may want to notice, I'm going to take this flasher off. One thing you may want to notice about the connections, you're going to want to look at them carefully as to where everything goes. But you also have some things like the dash lights. They come like right here. They come from the light switch down through the fuse box, and this one actually went up to the light itself. They're the dash lights themselves. See, it doesn't draw its power straight off of the, like, either accessory or ignition. So you have to be careful about that. You don't want to hook up something that is meant to run through a dedicated fuse. And all these fuse boxes have dedicated fuses, at least one or two. And you'll notice them by, see how these are your main feeds right here. That's your main wires coming in. Let's see, on this one the red was battery, the orange was ignition, and these two, because this truck didn't have any other circuit, it only had the three circuits, the battery, ignition, and accessory. I hooked these up, both of these, to the accessory side. Now, if you notice some of these other wires, like this one right here, is a bigger wire, this pink one. And if you actually, you'll never see them on the camera, I don't think, but if you could actually look at the bus bars, which are each one of these running across as a bus bar, which means your power hooks in here and transmits across the fuse box. Some of them don't go all the way across. Some of them stop. Like this one stops right here. So you have two dedicated fuses over here. So when you want to, like, let's say you're running from your dash light control from the light switch, you would put it here. Then your one of these wires would go to your dash lights. That way that fuse is dedicated just for that. It doesn't run through the bus bar. Okay, with that said, the supplies that you're going to need to convert to a modern fuse box are, okay, you need a toolbox. This one I got, there's plenty of room under that dash, so this is a kind of a big box to put it in. You could actually find a smaller box. You could find a pencil box as far as that goes. You could find something small. I just wanted something bigger to have room to work with inside. And you're going to need some of these butt splices. These are for your mains coming in. And you're going to, since vehicles are exposed sometimes to some moisture, you're going to want some heat shrink tubing. And you're going to want a terminal strip. I found this one at Lowe's. It's kind of nice. I actually had I had my eye on another terminal block, and actually this is what I used in the other one, with some of these spade connectors. It was a terminal block that actually had screws that you unscrewed and put your wire under them and tighten them down, you know. So you don't need these unless you get that type of terminal block. Now this one should be a lot nicer. All you do is you put the wires in and you just tighten them up. Got a little screw in them. Okay, you also are going to need some JB weld, and you'll see what that is for in a little bit. And a drill is awfully handy to have, and a Dremel. Well, it's not actually a Dremel brand, but it is a Dremel, sort of. Does the same thing. I've only got one cutting blade though. And also for your flashers, you're going to need some of these, of the more heavy duty connectors, like these. See how they are insulated? And these are the female connectors, and they will go right on to the flasher, like that. Well, I have to push all the way down on there, but anyway, you can connect those into your flasher. That's how you'll make your flasher circuit. Okay. Now, I'm going to set the camera up so I don't have to hold it, so I can use both my hands to show you this stuff. So I'm going to pause for a moment. Okay, here we go. First thing you're going to want to do, you're going to figure out how you're going to fit this into your box. You're going to want to measure out this, measure it out and make your marks. Something like that. And then connect everything together. and cut it out. Okay, you have your cutout for your fuse box. You want to test it out. Putting in right about there. Something to that effect. Once you insert it, line up your screw hole. This is out of a Blazer. And be a good idea to hang on to your screw. Okay, here we go. Put this in just like this. I know I used the bottom of the box, but I meant to because it's a smooth surface. And as you can see, it already looks better because it's hidden inside of the box without the price tag, that is. Anyway. Handle off because we don't need that. In order to get to the wires and everything and have plenty of room, I'm going to cut the back of this out. I do want to be able to mount it and then swing it down to work on it. So what I'm going to do, you have to make it so that when this folds down, your terminal will be right here, and you'll be able to attach all your wires. I'll be better here. This. Now, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to find your output wires. Whatever is going to go to a terminal, separate them. Like this is going to be an input, this is an output. You'll be able to tell by looking at the fuse box as to where everything goes, to which ones are output and which one is the input. What you want to do is you will want to strip the output wires like this, keeping up with which ones are the input, which ones are output wires. Line and load if you wish. And as you get them stripped out, you want to start putting them in your terminal. You want to put each one in each terminal and then tighten them up. Hopefully it's in camera. Okay, I'm going to put all these on. I'm going to pause the camera and then I'll come back. Okay. Here's the terminal block. It actually, I would like to have one that has more, because as you can see there's a lot of circuits that's not used. Some of these are dedicated though, so it's different. But if you notice, I have one right here that just has this type of plug on it. This is for my flasher. Now I'm going to show you how to set up your flasher circuit. What you'll want to do, you want to find where you're going to want it, make sure your wire will reach and everything. I'm just going to make a little scratch where I need to cut. Then I scratched where each one of the terminals, there's only 2 terminals on this. I made a scratch where each terminal is. Now I'm going to make a hole on each side. Then you'll test it to fit. There it is. Now all you have to do, or the first thing you do to get this figured out or set up to go, you plug in your one connector just like that. Then you put another one on your other wire that goes to your turn signal flasher. One just like this. Let's say this wire is running down, and that's the one that used to go to the turn signal flasher. You'll know because it's the one that actually came off right here where the turn signal flasher was on the fuse box. Now, what you've got to do, wire, and terminate it just like that. Okay, this wire will go, as you can see, there's your flasher. This wire will go on the other side of it, right there. Now you have your flasher terminated right here. Okay, that's for your turn signal flash. Now you would do the same exact thing for your emergency flasher. And the way that I did mine so that it's permanent, you don't have to open this up and pull your little terminals off and then stick it back in. You can leave the fuse box closed just like that, and the one that's in the truck, you can pull the flasher out and put it back in. The way I did that is I took some JB Weld epoxy, mixed it up together, and just put JB Weld all over in here. You have to make sure it doesn't go through and stick to the flasher too. You just put it around your terminals, and this will hold those terminals in place even when you pull the flasher out and unplug it. It's a more permanent installation that way. As you can see, the hole cut in the back, that's where your wires will go in, and you can mount it just like that in the same place the old one was. Latch these, and that holds it in place. And then when you need to work on something or add an accessory, which is very easy with this fuse box, you actually have your own fuse for each accessory, because there's plenty of fuses in here for a 68 Chevrolet or any other antique vehicle. Or actually, this came out of a 96 Blazer. So it's got circuits that went to the four-wheel drive, to the air conditioner, the power windows, everything. All you have to do is drop that down, work on your electrical system, and fold it back up. Okay, as you can see, I have the end of these terminated with butt splices. That's just one of these. You put it on, cramp it. Then, before you actually make your connection to your main wires, you will slide this over top of this wire, heat shrink tubing. Slide it all the way back far as you can. Put your wire in, cramp it, and put the heat shrink tubing over it and heat the heat shrink tubing up, because you don't want any moisture getting into this. Now, each one of your circuits, the way I've got these terminated on this block here, these go, let's see, okay, the orange wires right here go to the bus bar that is powered by these orange wires right here. This is your battery. I put the hot wires on this side, ignition all the way to here, accessory all the way to here. That way it makes it easier to hook stuff up. As you're taking your wires off of this old fuse box, look on the front. Some of the writing will still be on there. A lot of this is wore off, but a lot of times you can just trace the wire and see where it goes. Whatever comes off of the back of the fuse that it goes to, see, this would have went to the traffic hazard flasher, which is obvious because it went to a flasher. This next one went to the tail lights. It was right here. That one came off of this circuit, which was the constant hot battery. And then, as you can see, you got another one right here. That one is your glove compartment light, spot lamp, which the glove compartment light hadn't worked, and it's probably still, the bulb is still not working. And you also have a connector here that was for an accessory, because for hooking accessories up on this fuse box, you had to hook into these little tabs. Now all you have to do is hook into another one of these. The whole process took me about 3 hours, and that includes tracing out the wires, finding out where they go, hooking them up. And then once you get this screwed to the firewall, you have all your wires running in here. Hook your wires up as to what they are on this fuse box. Hook your main wires into these. Make sure your connections are good and solid. Nothing can come loose. No moisture can get in. Screw it to your firewall. Close it up. And there you have a fuse box that is updated, easily accessible, and you've made it yourself. It doesn't look that bad under the dash. You really can't tell that it's a toolbox because you can't really see the top of it. You just see that angle right there. So it looks like a normal fuse box. And you can use this in any vehicle you want. You can modify it, add more terminal blocks to use more fuses. Oh yeah, the wires you don't use and the wires that you don't use run to any terminal block. You will want to put an extra terminal block in here so that you have more stuff that you add on later. You can go ahead and have fuses for. But everything that you don't run to a terminal block, either insulate the end of the wires somehow, either put some electrical tape. The brush on electrical tape is the best for that, or just clip the wires down as close to the fuse as you can get. I don't really recommend doing that because you never know when you might need to add something else, or do other modifications. But you need to make sure that there are no wires that are bare, that are just hanging around back there. You don't want anything shorting out in this fuse box. Well, that is about it. I can't really show you putting it under the dash because I've already got one under there for one thing, and you can't really see under there anyhow. But that is how to make a upgrade, or how to upgrade your fuse panel and correct a lot of your intermittent electrical problems in your vehicle.